Behind closed doors at the Indiana Fever training facility, three of the WNBA's most influential players gathered for what sources describe as the most important meeting in recent franchise history. Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest superstar, Sophie Cunningham, the veteran leader from Phoenix, and Lexie Hull, the rising Indiana talent, have reportedly made a joint announcement that could fundamentally reshape women's professional basketball. The implications of their collective decision reach far beyond individual careers to potentially influence league structures, player compensation, and the entire future of women's sports. But what could bring together players from different teams and career stages for such a momentous declaration? What announcement could be so significant that it demands the attention of every WNBA fan, player, and executive across the country? The timing of this alleged announcement comes at a crucial moment for women's professional basketball as the league experiences unprecedented growth in viewership, attendance, and commercial value. Caitlin Clark's transformative rookie season brought millions of new fans to the WNBA. While players like Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull represent the established talent and emerging potential that define the league's competitive landscape, questions arise about what collective action these players might be considering and how their combined influence could affect the direction of women's professional basketball.
Clark was the #1 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, and of course,
the three players represent different aspects of WNBA success and challenges. Clark brings unprecedented marketability and fan attention that has elevated the entire league's profile. Cunningham represents veteran experience and the perspective of players who built the foundation for current success. Hull embodies the next generation of talent that will shape the league's future. Their collaboration suggests an initiative that addresses multiple aspects of the women's basketball experience, from rookie adaptation to veteran leadership to long-term career development. Sports analysts wonder whether this announcement might involve collective action regarding player compensation, working conditions, or opportunities for women's basketball players to maximize their earning potential and career satisfaction. The WNBA's current salary structure significantly limits player earning potential compared to the revenue and attention generated by elite performers, creating ongoing tensions about fair compensation and career sustainability.
All right, we love talking season before the season even tips off because all of us have our predictions, what we think's going to happen, who's going to be great, for instance.
The implications could suggest that these players are taking unprecedented steps to address systemic issues within women's professional basketball that affect all players, regardless of their individual success or recognition. Their combined platform and influence provide unique opportunities to advocate for changes that could benefit the entire player community while advancing the sport's commercial and competitive development. Caitlin Clark's involvement in any collective player initiative would be particularly significant given her unique position as the league's most marketable player and biggest revenue generator.
WNBA star and Fever guard Caitlin Clark is returning to her original home court on Sunday.
Her rookie season transformed WNBA economics with games featuring Clark regularly drawing over 1 million television viewers and selling out arenas that had previously struggled with attendance. This commercial success has created leverage that previous generations of women's basketball players never possessed. Clark's individual impact on league finances includes unprecedented merchandise sales, sponsorship opportunities, and television ratings that have fundamentally altered the WNBA's commercial position. Her presence at games has generated economic benefits for teams across the league, not just the Indiana Fever, as road games featuring Clark consistently produce higher attendance and revenue than typical WNBA contests. The rookie sensation social media following exceeds that of many established male professional athletes, providing her with platforms and influence that extend far beyond basketball. Her ability to reach diverse audiences and generate mainstream media attention creates opportunities for advocacy and initiatives that could reach well beyond traditional basketball communities. Questions arise about how Clark might use her unprecedented platform and commercial value to advocate for improvements that benefit all WNBA players, not just herself. Her unique position provides leverage for addressing issues that have affected women's professional basketball for decades, including salary limitations, working conditions, and career development opportunities. One has to wonder whether Clark's involvement in collective player initiatives represents her recognition that individual success must be balanced with collective advancement for the entire women's basketball community to achieve sustainable growth and improved conditions for all participants.
Clark was the #1 pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, and of course,
Sophie Cunningham brings a different perspective to any collaborative initiative, having experienced the challenges and limitations of women's professional basketball throughout her career with the Phoenix Mercury. As a veteran player who has competed at the highest levels while navigating the financial and professional realities of the WNBA, Cunningham understands both the opportunities and constraints that define player experiences. Cunningham's career trajectory includes international play, where many WNBA players earn the majority of their annual income through overseas competitions during the off-season. This global perspective provides insights into alternative models for women's professional basketball that might influence discussions about improving domestic league conditions and opportunities. The veteran guard has witnessed the evolution of women's basketball from a niche sport with limited commercial appeal to its current position as a growing entertainment property with increasing mainstream recognition. Her experience spanning multiple phases of league development provides valuable context for understanding both progress achieved and challenges that remain. Cunningham's leadership within the Players Association and her reputation for advocating for player interests suggests that her involvement in any major initiative would focus on practical improvements that address real issues affecting player careers and livelihood. Her perspective represents the concerns of established players who have invested their careers in building the foundation for current success. Sports analysts note that Cunningham's participation in collaborative efforts with newer stars like Clark demonstrates the potential for bridging generational gaps within the player community to pursue common goals that benefit all participants regardless of their career stage or individual recognition.
In Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever are trading for a multi-dimensional wing.
Lexie Hull represents the emerging talent that will define the WNBA's future, bringing the perspective of players who entered the league during its current growth phase, but still face the traditional challenges that have affected women's professional basketball throughout its history. Her involvement suggests that any major announcement addresses both current issues and long-term development concerns. Hull's Indiana Fever teammate relationship with Clark provides insights into how veteran and rookie players can collaborate effectively while pursuing individual and collective goals. Their partnership demonstrates the potential for mentorship and mutual support that could serve as models for player development throughout the league. The young forward's college experience at Stanford, one of the premier women's basketball programs, provided exposure to high-level competition and professional preparation that influences her perspective on what women's professional basketball could become with proper support and development resources. Hull's position as an emerging player facing decisions about career development, international opportunities, and long-term goals represents the concerns of many WNBA players who must balance immediate financial needs with career sustainability and professional growth in a league with limited earning potential. Questions arise about how Hull's participation in major player initiatives might reflect broader concerns among younger players about career prospects, financial security, and opportunities for advancement within the current structure of women's professional basketball.
With the 6th pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Lexie Hull, Stanford University.
The collaboration between these three players from different career stages and team affiliations suggests an initiative that transcends individual interests to address systemic issues affecting the entire WNBA player community. Their combined influence and perspectives provide unique opportunities to advocate for changes that could benefit all participants while advancing the sport's overall development. Previous examples of successful player advocacy in professional sports demonstrate how collective action by influential athletes can create positive changes in league structures, compensation models, and working conditions. The most effective initiatives typically combine star power with broad-based support from players across different teams and career stages. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement includes provisions for player compensation, benefits, and working conditions, but many players continue to express concerns about salary limitations and career sustainability. The league's salary cap structure restricts individual earning potential even for the most successful and marketable players. International opportunities provide alternative income sources for many WNBA players, with European and Asian leagues often offering higher compensation than domestic professional basketball. This global marketplace creates leverage for players seeking improved conditions and compensation within the WNBA structure. Sports economists note that the recent growth in WNBA popularity and commercial success creates opportunities for renegotiating league economics and player compensation models that better reflect the value generated by elite performers and the league's increased commercial viability.
People want to know, is that the team to beat this year? Can they win the WNBA champion?
The announcement timing coincides with ongoing discussions about WNBA expansion, television contract negotiations, and the league's long-term strategic direction. These factors create opportunities for player input and advocacy that could influence fundamental aspects of how women's professional basketball operates and compensates its participants. Player empowerment movements in other professional sports have demonstrated how athletes can successfully advocate for improved conditions, compensation, and career opportunities. The most effective initiatives typically combine individual star power with collective organization and specific achievable goals that benefit the entire player community. The social media landscape provides modern athletes with platforms and influence that previous generations never possessed. Players can now communicate directly with fans, media, and league officials while building personal brands that create leverage for advocacy and negotiation efforts.
Last year, how does Vegas get back to its championship ways?
Death, taxes, and Asia Wilson getting the bucket.
Women's professional sports have seen increasing instances of successful player advocacy, with athletes using their platforms to address issues ranging from compensation equality to working conditions to media coverage and respect. These precedents provide models for effective collective action within the WNBA context. The CU rent growth phase of women's basketball creates unique opportunities for player input and advocacy that could shape the sport's development for decades. Players who take leadership roles during this crucial period could influence fundamental structures and policies that affect future generations of women's basketball players. Questions arise about what specific goals these players might be pursuing and how their collective action could address both immediate concerns and long-term development needs for women's professional basketball. Their combined influence provides unprecedented opportunities for advocacy and change. The announcement's potential impact extends beyond the WNBA to influence broader discussions about women's sports, athlete compensation, and the evolution of professional athletics. Successful advocacy by prominent women's basketball players could create precedents that benefit athletes across multiple sports and competitive levels. Corporate sponsors and media partners have increased their investments in women's basketball, significantly creating new revenue streams and commercial opportunities that could support improved player compensation and working conditions. The challenge involves ensuring that increased league revenue translates into tangible benefits for the players who generate that success. The fan support generated by players like Clark demonstrates the commercial potential of women's basketball when provided with proper marketing, media coverage, and competitive opportunities. This growing fan base creates leverage for player advocacy and demands for improved league policies and player treatment. Educational initiatives and community outreach programs represent additional areas where player advocacy could create positive changes that extend beyond immediate compensation and working condition concerns. Players often seek opportunities to use their platforms for broader social impact and community development. The long-term sustainability of women's professional basketball depends on creating career paths and compensation models that allow elite athletes to build sustainable livelihoods while pursuing competitive excellence. Current players have opportunities to influence these foundational elements through collective advocacy and leadership. Team goals are one thing, and then individual goals. What does the season look like year 2? International perspectives and opportunities provide additional context for understanding what women's professional basketball could achieve with proper support and development. Many WNBA players compete overseas during the off-season, gaining exposure to different models for player compensation, league organization, and competitive structure. The role of player development and career support services representing another area where collective advocacy could create improvements that benefit all participants. Enhanced training facilities, medical support, and career transition resources could address concerns that affect players throughout their careers and beyond. Media coverage and marketing support significantly influence both individual player recognition and overall league success. Player advocacy could focus on ensuring that increased media attention and commercial success translate into improved conditions and opportunities for all participants, not just the most visible stars. The announcement's timing during the WNBA's growth phase provides unique opportunities to influence league direction and policy development. Players who take leadership roles during this crucial period could help establish precedents and structures that benefit future generations of women's basketball players. Legal and contractual considerations affect how player advocacy initiatives can be structured and implemented within existing league frameworks. Successful collective action typically requires careful coordination with player association representatives and legal experts who understand professional sports regulations and contract law. The potential for creating lasting positive change through player advocacy depends on developing specific achievable goals that address real concerns while working within existing legal and contractual structures. The most effective initiatives typically combine immediate improvements with long-term strategic changes that create sustainable benefits. Fan engagement and support often play crucial roles in successful player advocacy efforts. The growing popularity of women's basketball creates opportunities for players to build public support for initiatives that improve league conditions and player opportunities while advancing the sport's overall development. The announcement represents a potential turning point for women's professional basketball, as influential players use their combined platform and leverage to advocate for changes that could reshape the sport's future. Their collaboration demonstrates the potential for collective action to address systemic issues while advancing individual and community goals. One has to wonder what specific changes these players are advocating for and how their initiative might influence the broader landscape of women's professional sports. Their combined influence and timing provide unprecedented opportunities to create positive changes that could benefit current and future generations of women's basketball players while advancing the sport's commercial and competitive development. If UEI is excited about this potential game-changing in men as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What changes do you think these players should advocate for in women's basketball? How important is collective player action for improving conditions in the WNBA? We want to hear your perspective on what improvements would benefit women's professional basketball the most. Then hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our coverage of this developing story that could reshape the entire landscape of women's sports. Thanks for watching.